And of course, in our smartphones, we're really experiencing this next aspect of human-computer symbiosis, of this information retrieval, intelligence augmentation by our ability to effectively have an outboard brain. That's really this incredible power of recollection and memory, being made possible through this new kind of man-machine symbiosis. Our ability to effectively have an outboard brain. How many of you actually refer to your phone as your outboard brain?
I used to explain that.
Is a science fiction novel, and the great whiz-bang science fiction device in the middle of it is a form of frozen water which is stable at room temperature. And if this sort of substance ever got loose on the earth, it would teach all water how to freeze in that way.
In this time, the most precious...
Medieval Irish bard, and at that time I started reading neurology, and I decided it was just my right brain talking to my left brain. And then I went to Ireland and I found out it was actually a 6-foot-tall white rabbit. They call it the puka, and the Irish know all about it. So it depends on who I'm talking to, which of these metaphors I use to explain where these weird...
So Embassy Town is it's a science fiction novel. It's set in a very distant planet called Arieka, and it's set among a group of humans who live on a kind of outpost in a place called Embassy Town. A new ambassador comes to Arieka, and for the first time in many generations, something specific about this particular ambassador creates a huge kind of planetary-wide crisis. One of the things I wanted to do in Embassy Town is to sort of riff off a lot of quite classic science fictional tropes and sort of homage to a lot of those classic ideas, one of them being subspace. And so having decided that, then I wanted to sort of work out, if possible, new things that you could do with that.
It's AI plus the recorded memory of augmented humans. And that's really my point. The global brain is us, connected and augmented. The main point that I think I'm trying to make is when we think about the future of kind of a future artificial intelligence, whatever, it's sort of like this AI. And
sounds like you're saying it's not artificial anymore.
I don't think it's artificial.
Us.
It really is us. It's like we are becoming a multicellular organism in a new way. It's getting, at a certain point, this process of communication becomes sufficiently intense. The structure becomes sufficient that we actually become something qualitatively different. And you can look at again, this notion that a meme can spread. Twitter memes, can spread in a flash worldwide. Of course, that could happen in the days of mass media as well. But I think it's happening much faster.
Now, the brain is made up of about 100 billion neurons. If you took 100 billion sheets of paper and stacked them on top of each other, it would be 5,000 miles high. That's the distance from Los Angeles to London. Now, nerve cells possess the unique ability to store and communicate information between each other. So your neocortex, your thinking brain, is the seat of your conscious awareness. You're listening to me right now with your neocortex. And what the neocortex loves to do is to gather information. And every time you learn something new, you make a new synaptic connection in your thinking brain. That's what learning is. Learning is forging new connections. And every time you learn something new, your brain physically changes. So you read a book on how to ride a bicycle, you read a book on how to build a doghouse, you read a book on how to dance the salsa, how to cook French cuisine, how to become successful, how to be a better parent. And your brain literally upscales its hardware to reflect a new level of mind. The principle in neuroscience says this: nerve cells that fire together wire together. And as you begin to learn...
to explain where these...
asked the pilot. He meant the hosts. Soon, I said, having no idea. It wasn't the hosts I wanted to see. Ambassadors had arrived. People came close to them, but they didn't get jostled. There was always space around them, a moat of respect. Outside, rain hit the windows. I've been able to ascertain nothing of what had been going on behind doors from any of my friends, any usual sources. Only the top bureaucrats and their advisors had met our most important, controversial newcomers, and I was hardly among them. People were glancing at the entrance. I smiled at the pilot. More ambassadors were entering. I smiled at them, too, until they acknowledged me. The city hosts would come before long, and the last of the new arrivals. The captain and the rest of the ship's crew, the attachés, the consuls and researchers, perhaps a few late immigrants. And the point of all this